I still
it's
think
gonna
Joe
become a
Burrow's
big problem.
overpaid. I do. I will say that. Welcome back to 4-5 Sports. Today we are talking about the Cincinnati Bengals. A little bit of a struggle right now, and this comes right after Joe Burrow gets paid $275 million. Now, my thing is I understand he's a little banged up, didn't get to go into training camp, but you have Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, Irv Smith. That's a new weapon. I mean, like
those are good enough weapons.
Those are two guys that have had 1,000-yard seasons. Tyler Boyd is an 800-yard, well, has been an 800-yard type of guy. Like, but it always comes back to that O-line.
Every time.
Comes back to that.
Always
Every
has,
time.
always will.
If you have a good O-line,
And-
it does not matter who your receivers
And
are.
I don't understand why they've gone Dax Hill and Dax Hill is good. He's great, and he's replaced Von Bell and I can't think of the other guy's name.
Trey Flowers.
Yeah. I just don't understand why they drafted Dax Hill, Miles Murphy. I understand, make the defense better, but the O-line is just so atrocious. It needs help, and going through free agency has not been the way for them.
No.
And Gare, what do you attribute these struggles for the Bengals to?
I do think it's that O-line. I personally, at any level, NFL, high school, college, if you know, like, your O-line's good and you can be confident in your throwing and not thinking, oh, my God, I'm about to get slammed by Micah Parsons here in 2 seconds. Like, if you can make that throw and be like, okay, I'm comfortable, I'm not going to get drilled.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter what quarterback you are. I think if your blind side's good and you are very confident in your throwing, I think you're going to be a 10 times better quarterback.
Well, Lamar might he might not need the greatest offensive line.
Right, but that's a running back.
Yeah, he's a very different receiver, not very different quarterback than
Right.
Joe Burrow.
Pocket passer type.
Right. I get you. I'm just saying.
Right.
But I don't know, man. You signed the guy for this much money, and now it's just kind of gone down.
And Joe Burrow made a quote after the game yesterday where he said it's hard to look good when your quarterback hasn't been in camp.
Yeah.
Which is very true, and I feel like you can wrap a lot of those problems into they just haven't been together long enough this season.
Yeah.
It just is shocking because that team is very talented.
Yeah.
And they have been really good the past 2 years.
The mistakes they're making are stupid mistakes.
Uh-huh.
Like, it's stupid turnovers, and it's stuff that, like, you haven't seen Joe Burrow on that offense make in the last couple of years.
It was just because they clicked so well instantly with Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow that we
I
were
know.
like, all right.
And, I mean, I know we've all gone back to it, but, like, we didn't even mention Joe Mixon with the weapons they have, but, like, it's weird to look at that offense and not just be, like, amazed at how well it works. Because it's worked so well for 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
That when you get just thumped by the Browns and the Ravens, it's just weird to look
I will say those defenses are – well, is the Ravens defense that good?
They were missing two guys in the secondary, Marcus Williams, and I can't think of the other guy. But
the Browns are – the defense
The
is
Browns
pretty
defense
Browns
is
defense
good.
is good.
And
have
they
a good
played
D-line.
their butt off. Like, they played really, really good. We've won.
Yeah, and to make matters worse, they got to play the Rams, which I just realized they don't have Leonard Floyd anymore, but they still have Aaron Donald, who is a game
Right,
wrecker.
you have to block him twice.
I mean, they brought 3 on him the other day.
Yeah.
So, I mean, literally, like, he might record 2.5 sacks that game. So, that's, I don't know how I see that going for them. But there's just so many struggles on that offense. And this is a team that's going to have to get rid of T. Higgins. There's no way they can keep him and Jamar and Joe Mixon.
You just can't pay everybody they got.
You can't pay all those people. And especially if your route is getting offensive linemen through free agency, like, you're really not going to be able to, And that's what I would suggest. Trade T. Higgins for some kind of offensive lineman. I was going to say Laramie Tunsil, but he's too expensive. But that would be I feel like that'd be great.
There's plenty of O-linemen that are going to be up for sale near the trade deadline that they can go get. Or, I mean, even earlier maybe.
Yeah,
I think if something that I noticed in the Browns game, I noticed at the start of the game the Browns were really able to get to Joe Burrow very quickly. I think if you could start the game by, like, running the ball and, like, getting them on their heels and not like thinking, all right, we got him every play.
Yeah, it's the same thing like we said in the Justin Fields video. Just set the tone there, and then you switch it up.
Right.
But it's even like Justin Herbert. I mean, he's 0-2 now. He just got paid. So something about like paying these guys, and then to be fair to Joe Burrow, he is 1-7 in the first 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's true.
he's
It's only 2. There's 15 more
This is
weeks.
very early, but it's just saying. It's just, and it goes to show what he said. I didn't really have a training camp.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't get warm. He didn't play a single preseason. Now, that's another thing I don't like. I don't like when quarterbacks don't play in the preseason. I like what Aaron did. I like
he played one game.
you don't play the first 2 weeks. You play that last one. Get you 1, 2, maybe 3 drives. You've got to get those shimmies out, you know, and
knock the rust off a little bit.
yeah. And you could argue that sometimes it doesn't do much because you could say Josh Allen, it didn't shake off the turnovers.
No,
But he played a lot in preseason. You know what I mean? He played a lot.
He
in
played.
preseason.
He played every game the first couple drives.
And I don't know, but I feel like he might be right with that, saying I missed a training camp. You know?
Yeah. But
You'd at least just start 1-1. I really thought they would beat the Browns.
Especially to lose to 2 in division.
Yeah,
That's the problem.
The worst part is it was 2 division games.
Because you got to play those dudes again.
Yeah.
And it's hard to win a division. I mean, you only get 6 division games, and when you lose the first 2, it's hard to.
Yeah.
They kind of have to win the rest of the division games to give themselves a chance.
Yeah, because like they're on pace. You know, to not even go 500 in the division. So
Yeah, and I mean, you make one more slip up, you don't. You like have to fight for a wild card spot at this point.
Yeah. So, and actually, they do struggle against the Browns. Oh, you know what? They don't struggle against Pittsburgh, but they do struggle against the Browns and the Ravens.
Right, they always have.
Yeah.
And I want to say the Ravens game is in Baltimore, right?
The next one?
Yeah.
I think so.
And they stink at Baltimore. Like Baltimore's beat them at Baltimore in the last couple of years.
Which you do have to win division. You have to win games in general, but like with the NFL, you can lose all your division. Well, no, you can't. It doesn't weigh more to lose to the Packers than it does the Ravens. A loss is a loss in the NFL because it doesn't go off division; it goes off overall record.
Right, but it's just
I mean,
it's
when
just
it comes to
within that division.
When it comes to tiebreakers and stuff, you'd like to have it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
because also like even just like look at look at the NFC East for example. Like you have 3 teams that are 2-0 and then a team that's 1-1.
Right.
So it's like it really matters for those in divisions. So like you said, it's overall record, but at the same time, you can't be dropping every game to a division game. All I'm gonna say is I feel like the Bengals just have almost built. Not that they've built this team wrong because this team has been to the Super Bowl, but it's almost just like when are you gonna learn that going through free agency, signing these guys that are getting cut by these teams or not even re-signed by their own teams, it's not working with them in terms of offensive line.
They have the wrong thought process behind building the team. They're like, okay, we have a bad offensive line. We're going to try and patch it, but then build around it so that it doesn't matter. And that's one position group that, you can get by with bad receivers or bad running backs, but having a bad O-line, it kills every facet of the game.
Anybody can run through a hole.
Yeah, and
it's hard to build a good, consistent team with a bad offensive line.
Yeah, I could have told you Lele Collins wasn't going to work for him. There's a reason he wasn't re-signed by us.
I mean, you don't even have to have a good. You could honestly just pick 2 O linemen, stick them on one side of the left or right side, and then just run it that direction. Never run it to the left.
To an extent, but
somewhat. It's
the
just
defense will adjust or something. But
but that'll help a lot.
Yeah. I like the Dax Hill and Miles Murphy picks. It's just at some point you've got to realize,
there's nothing wrong with those players. They just don't exactly fit the needs of the team.
Yeah, and if you look at your counterparts, the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Ravens, look at Lindenbaum, look at Broderick Jones. Those guys are going to be staples for those teams for the future to protect their young quarterbacks, Kenny Pickett and Lamar Jackson. So. It's just a thing that is.
Yeah, they can't neglect it any longer.
Yeah, I still think Joe Burrow is overpaid. I do. I will say that. I said going into last year that the Bengals were going to miss the playoffs, but they made it. But still, I still think he's a little overpaid. That's all.
I just think the quarterback market is overpaid
as
a whole. But
that's fair too.
I think he makes more money than he should.
I
agree.
I mean, I think they overpaid, but I think they've overpaid every quarterback they've paid recently. Like I think Justin Herbert got overpaid.
Yeah, for sure.
So
that's a whole video in itself. So.
Yeah, it really is.
Thank you guys for watching the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe down below. Comment down below if you think Joe Burrow is just maybe just a tad bit overpaid. Thank you for watching the video.